Good morning and welcome to another episode of Farm Factor on Ag AM in Kansas. I'm your host, Conrad Cabas. On today's show, we talk about how the Kansas Department of Agriculture awards certificates to students at 9 schools throughout the state. Find out how these students qualified for these funds. Later on, we talk with the KLA past president about the field day in Delphos, Kansas, where KLA producer is passing his operation down to another generation. And at the end of the show, we are in Olathe, Kansas at the Food Export Conference, talking about how producers can get involved in international trade. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers. This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Association of Wheat Growers and the Kansas Wheat Commission. Together, we are Kansas Wheat.
KDA recently awarded $38,000 worth of certificates to students at 9 schools throughout the state. Here on Farm Factor, we have the story.
So this was our first awarding year of the Kansas Agriculture Skills and Competencies Certificate, and KDA awarded 38 certificates to students at 9 schools in Kansas, and that resulted in $38,000 total dollars for local schools, thanks to this being a qualifying certificate for Governor Brownback's Career and Technical Education Initiative, Senate Bill 155. And so students applied for the certificate demonstrating their well-rounded experience in agricultural education through supervised agricultural experience, experiential learning, classroom instruction, as well as active membership in FFA to demonstrate their leadership skills. And through applying, we assess those applications and we go through and award those certificates, and this is going to be happening on an annual basis, so we encourage students to apply year after year as they graduate from high school, take the Kansas Agriculture Assessment, and apply.
Now, when were these certificates awarded?
They were awarded they were awarded during the summer months. We accepted applications up until June 1st this year. This being our first year there, we've learned a lot, and I think we're going to be moving up that deadline to in the spring of next year. And so agricultural education instructors and students should be looking for further information from me at the department to find out more updates about the application, qualifying skills and competencies, as well as when to apply.
The schools are top-notch ag programs. However, they're all unique in their approach in education.
We have 9 schools from across the state of Kansas that have students that received the certificate, and those schools are of all sizes and a different amount of students from every school. Each student that receives a certificate gets $1,000 for their school. So those schools are Center, Hugoton, Holton, Labette County, Marion, Florence, Girard, Washington County, Labette County, Winfield, and Riverton.
In addition, KDA has a wonderful relationship with the FFA program in the state of Kansas and wants to continue this relationship for many years.
So the Kansas Department of Agriculture has a strong relationship with the Kansas FFA Association and agricultural education in the state. We believe and are supportive of agricultural education, knowing that the students in the program are the future of our industry, and we need students that are interested in careers in agriculture and to give them the opportunity to develop their skills and training in our industry so that they can be successful. And that's where the certificate comes in recognizing the work and passion that they have and commitment to being a part of the industry in the future, and we want to give them the tools they need to be leaders in our industry.
This hog is Hanover hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Now another gardening tip with Annette Jackson.
Fall is a great time to plant trees, shrubs, and perennials.
Root development this fall means more growth with less watering next year. For faster root growth, always use Fertilome Root Stimulator. It is the only stimulator which contains IBA rooting hormone. Use Fertilome tree and shrub food after the plant has been planted for a month.
Save 25% now on Jackson's homegrown hardy perennials. Let Jackson's friendly staff help you select the best plants for your landscape.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484. Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
KLA and many sponsors put together field days like this one in Delphos, Kansas, so that producers and consumers can learn more about livestock operation and what they can try at their own farm.
Each year, KLA and sponsors put together programs that serve some benefit to our members and hopefully potential members to encourage their businesses or strengthen them and do some planning for the future. And today's program is part of that. Today is a really neat opportunity to have a KLA past president kind of lay forth a succession plan for his operation that he's developed in the beef industry, and even more uniquely to actually pass that on to a generation that he's not related to. And that's something that all of us as producers have to really be concerned about, because we all face that day that our operation and our management of it will come to an end sometime. The Kansas Livestock Association has always played a role in trying to further the success and the opportunities of beef producers in this state, and programs like this that put us in contact with people who are in the business of succession planning or business planning, management attorneys, bankers, whatever it may be. The association's always done a great job of putting those people in our networks so that we can contact them when they're needed.
Mark Harms is the past president for KLA and has a large respect for the organization.
I was fortunate enough to have been chosen by the Members Association to serve as president last year in 2013. And because I do believe in the purpose and the mission of this organization, being able to be here today and represent and serve our members in that capacity is a pleasure and honor of mine.
Mark found his passion with KLA after he found more about the program.
One of the main reasons that I grew up in Nebraska, and every time I'd come into Kansas to buy calves as a young producer myself, I always saw these KLA stickers in the corners of businesses and sale barns and auctions, livestock auctions that I attended, and I always decided that was something that I wanted to get involved with someday. And after I graduated from Kansas State, got involved and really understood what KLA was doing for the producers, it was kind of a no-brainer for me to keep participating in that way.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We're having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Carwaters has what you need for all seasons for around the farm and home. Working, hunting, growing, feeding, snow removal, even fun for the kids. and a service department with experienced techs to help keep your equipment in top running condition. Tar Waters has a huge selection and the best prices. Tar Water Farm and Home, family owned and operated since 1978. They have what you need.
Hey folks, Dr. Dan from Doc Talk. If you miss us on Monday morning, you can join us at 6:30 a.m. every Sunday morning on RFD TV. Doc Talk has a national following. We're sure glad that you joined us on Mondays, but if you miss us and you want to catch us out on a Sunday morning, get up at 6:30 a.m. and we'll be right there, RFD TV, 6:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, and I'll see you down the road.
Innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
This segment is brought to you by Central National Bank. Put our ag professionals to work for you.
Welcome back to the show. Recently, Farm Factor attended a trade export conference in Olathe, Kansas, where we learned more about trade for Kansas producers and international trade outside of U.S. borders. We talked with several export managers and export experts about what we can do as Kansas producers to make our market known around the world.
Food Export Association is what's called the State Regional Trade Group. It's one of 4 that cover the 50 United States. And it's a membership organization. The members are the state departments of agriculture. J.J. Jones is our host today. He represents the State Department of Agriculture from Kansas' interest and the food company's interest to Food Export Midwest. Every year they design strategic plans that include trade shows and missions and things, but also an export component, which leads us here today to the seminar. Well, they're crucial in many ways. Kansas is known for certain things in large volume, but actually they produce a lot of different products, including a lot of baking products and a lot of pet food. And many of those are done by small and medium-sized companies, so it's really important for them to understand which countries are buying pet food, and especially which countries are buying pet food from Kansas, which we can also arrive at by using those codes to do market research on export statistics into country. We exported the United States last year $1.3 billion worth of pet food, so the question is always why? And the answer from all the market research we see is that it is our high-tech science diets. It's all the things that we do with pet food to make it healthier. We separate by age and size of animal. And we just have, well, there's a tremendous core competency in the state in feed. It makes perfect sense that would go into pet food as well as animal feed as well. So it's a natural extension of something that they've already done really well. And that's just the start. I mean, that tells you who's interested in the product, but particularly also who isn't. And you may find in that research that either the duties are really high, they don't have a high pet population, or they're buying it from a more proximate country that they're in a free trade agreement with. There's usually some kind of a cost advantage or really high regulations that keeps a lot of our products out.
For years, Kansas has been perceived as a one-horse show with our top-heavy grain and cattle exports. But in fact, Kansas is a very diverse market with many opportunities and diverse areas where Kansas producers can get involved.
Many of the states actually are kind of top-heavy with 6 or 8 particular products. And a lot of people think Kansas might be that way too, but they're actually highly diversified. And they sell a lot of food ingredients, and they make a lot of bread product too. That's of high interest to people. So it's not only the products, but they have a lot of byproducts of things. In other words, a lot of bulk material certainly goes out, but that same material is being used to add value to within the state. In other words, they'll take a byproduct of it, or they'll process it further, and then further yet again. So it may start as a bulk product and then be turned into a flour and then be turned into a tortilla. We try and focus on that particular level of product because it's the most value added, it creates the most jobs, including packaging and marketing and internet companies are all going to benefit by the more labor that's put into food products in a particular state like Kansas.
Kansas is one of the top trading states in the world, and it doesn't look like it's going to decline anytime soon.
Well, it's really important to compete out there, and many of the other states are doing it, and many other countries are doing it. So attending the strategic trade shows in the United States and around the world are really important. To have a Kansas pavilion, for example, which gets organized so people know they're going to walk down a row or a certain part of a row and all the companies are going to be from within state, is one way that a lot of state departments of agriculture will isolate their companies, not from the public, but from the competition. So people know, they learn more about the state's products just by being in that 40 or 60 feet of space. And to make sure that the State Department of Agriculture's website is highly informative on what the core competencies of the state are, and that there are a lot of exports from the state. And it's certainly true. It's an inordinate amount on a per capita basis. It's very high volume. There's a lot of very skilled people here. Another thing is to focus on the logistical hub that we have here in Kansas City. We have the NAFTA corridor, which is based on north-south traffic between Mexico and Canada. So there's a tremendous intermodal facility here, lots of international freight forwarders. A lot of people don't realize that one of the probably 6th or 7th largest hub of international freight activity is right here. And that's basically because of the location and the investment in the infrastructure that's been made. So freight movement, even from an inland location, is a lot less expensive than other areas because those economies of scale have been driven down by that competency in moving cargo, which has been, gosh, well, it goes back with me over 20 years, but certainly in the last 10 years, the infrastructure development is something that I've been following, and you can see, even from the air, how those rail spikes work and how those ocean containers can be loaded on those trains. In many cases, those trains now pull up in a port, say of Los Angeles, and get loaded right on the vessel right off the train. So the usage of those type of facilities keep the cost down in shipping and make the products more affordable, and that investment appears to me has been well done.
Turn to a Central National Bank Ag Professional. You'll be in good company. They'll help you track expense lines, manage variable input costs, assess ground agreements, pick a crop protection plan. These times demand ag professionals. Central National Bank. You could profit from what they know. Ag operations run better on Central Time.
Central National Bank, money for life.
Member FDIC in your hometown since 1884.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome. Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484.
The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine is a leader in food animal research and education. Our researchers are constantly expanding the knowledge of animal health and food safety. Through the Veterinary Health Center and the Kansas State Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, we provide practical services for animal producers. Home of the Beef Cattle Institute, the college is committed to animal welfare training and research. The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine, knowledge and service for the future of animal production.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
This is the fast track to more jobs and America's energy independence. Advanced performance is here, now. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
This segment is brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook, or visit us online at sftmeats.com.
Kansas is a member of the Food Export Association of the Midwest. Many export analysts in our states, from Manhattan to Kansas City, are working to make sure that trade is one of the #1 markets in the state of Kansas.
So Kansas is one of 12 members of the Food Export Association of the Midwest. And through that membership, we're able to partner with Food Export to offer a variety of programs and services to help our companies in Kansas get ready for the exporting process, maybe enter their first market, or expand into additional markets if they're already exporting a little bit. And so a seminar like we're holding today on how to get started is just an example of one of those programs and services that Kansas companies have access to because of Kansas's membership in Food Export.
J.J. Jones and other KDA associates try to make sure that many Kansas producers are informed, from webinars to seminars all around the state.
There's really 3 main ways that we do producer education. One is through actual live seminars where we are bringing in subject matter experts that our farmers and ranchers and agribusinesses can attend. They can see specific topics presented on and then obviously interact with the presenters. Then the second way is through webinars. So we have a variety of pre-recorded and live webinars that farmers and ranchers and agribusinesses can access through foodexport.org so that they can learn at their own leisure, if you will. And then the final way is through some self-guided tutorials or export essentials, as we call them, where there are modules that they can, again, in a self-guided way, go on to foodexport.org and go through some very specific topics like pricing their product, shipping their product, understanding different INCO or export terminology and definitions. So again, there's a variety of ways that they can fit their schedule to accomplish that exporting education process.
At the conference in Olathe, KDA and the Food Export Association of the Midwest try to educate the public on the basics of getting started in international trade.
Again, today's topic is, the broad topic is how to get started, the best ways to get started in exporting. And so basically what we're going over are just some of the basics of the programs offered by both the Kansas Department of Agriculture and the Food Export Association of the Midwest, as well as also going into just some of the basics that international customers may ask them from the beginning. Things such as their HS code, are the products that they're producing subject to a free trade agreement if we have a free trade agreement with that country, and then getting into the basics of how do you price your product different from for the export market versus the domestic market. Are there some common documentation or inspection processes that you need to go through to begin the export process? So again, we're trying to just give them a broad overview of some of the basics that will help them be educated so the first time they sit down with that international buyer, they're coming to that meeting a little better prepared than just going in there cold.
The Food Export Association has many resources for producers to use.
The way I like to say it is a lot of the services on the website for education, whether it's the webinars or the helpline or the tutorials that a farmer, a rancher, or agribusiness can log on to, those are prepaid. Your tax dollars have already paid for those. So it's as simple as going to foodexport.org. We ask you to register for the site, where you basically provide your name and contact information just so we know who's using the site, and then you have open access to go in and participate in those webinars or register for a seminar or go through the educational modules at your own leisure.
Thank you for watching this episode of Farm Factor on Ag Aim in Kansas. For more of Farm Factor, or if you want to view this program again, visit us on www.agaiminkansas.com, or you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Good day and good luck.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.